ring on August 5th, 2017. My dream will become a reality. And I'll die with a smile on my fucking face. Because I face the god. I face the legend. ONITA! ONITA!
There is only one. Welcome to the official H20 Wrestling Matt Tremont podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive deep into it. Welcome to Bullshitting with the Bulldozer. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, yours truly, the Bulldozer, Matt Tremont, here in my little makeshift studio here at the H20 Wrestling Center. It is Sunday, March 22nd, a little after 6 p.m., and man, we are in trying times right now, not only nationwide, but worldwide. The pandemic known as the coronavirus has spread rapidly and has literally a stranglehold on how we are able to live our lives right now. And it's affected us in so many ways for so many different people. And, you know, currently myself, you know, I sit here at the H20 Wrestling Center and in an empty arena on usually a weekend where we have usually a show or a rental, a birthday party, so on and so forth, and we don't have anything going on. I'm going to get into that a little bit later in the podcast itself, but wanted to get you guys up to speed on why I'm doing this. Basically, this is something. I've had a lot of ventures over the years. Obviously, an in-ring pro wrestling career. The owner, booker, promoter of H20 Wrestling. I ran my retail store, Bulldozer's Collectibles, for a few years. Have Double Stomp Video as well, as far as filming and producing wrestling events. So have put my hands in a lot of different hats over the years. Podcast has always been something I've wanted to get into, and what better time than the present? With all this stuff going on right now, there's a lot of downtime. Quite frankly, I've been pretty bored the last week, and I'm like, man, I need something to do. I need some kind of creative outlet. I need some. I got stuff to get off my chest. I need to talk to somebody. Me and the wife are just staring at each other, getting bored. Right now it's just me and the dog chilling. Sullivan's here with me in the arena while I do this, and now I get to talk to you guys. And this is something to do, something to keep the mind busy, so I don't go stir crazy here. I have nothing to promote right now, nothing to book. Again, no creative outlet, for myself to do anything right now. So I'm like, man, a podcast just seemed like the right thing to do, just to keep me busy, give myself something to do. And I've always been a fan of podcasts in general, obviously wrestling podcasts. I listen to all of Conrad's shows with Jim Ross and Bruce Pritchard, Eric Bischoff, Arn Anderson. I've listened to all those. Talk is Jericho, the Stone Cold podcast. I've been on quite a few podcasts over the years. I haven't been on any actually in quite some time. I took a break from them. There's a lot of times some were more prepared than others, and it kind of just wound up being the same interview. But I did some quality, really good wrestling podcasts over the years. The Struggles, probably the best one. Dude was always prepared, had different questions, and just went in depth and had a genuine discussion with him, along with Hell in a Cell Talk Radio. My buddies Dan and Dean, they've been doing that podcast for a long time, and I always enjoyed going on there. And in that time going on all these podcasts and learning from them as well, seeing what to do, what not to do, what interests people, what doesn't interest people. So yeah, man, here we are. This is the first one. So I'm working on the fly, brother. and, try to keep this as interesting as possible. These first couple episodes, literally, it's just going to be me. But I hope for this to blossom, and I'm going to as in everything I do, I'm going to put time and effort into it, and I'm really going to make something of this, and, hopefully get people talking and get people listening. And if I can be an hour out of your day to, get your mind off the craziness that's going on in the world right now and just talk about some pro wrestling, talk about the Bulldozer and H20, I've done my job. The wrestling fans have given me so much over the years. And without their support, I wouldn't have been able to do all the things I've been fortunate enough to have been able to do for the last, 12, 13, 14 years. So yeah, here we are, man. This is the podcast, the official Matt Tremont H20 Wrestling podcast. We're floating a couple names around right now. I'm not sure what we're going to use. The wife gave me a real good name to call it, and I've had some in mind as well over the years that I've wanted to call it. So I'm not going to make anything official at the moment. All due in time. But I just, needed an outlet. So, here we are again, this pandemic that is, taken over the world. Like I said, a stranglehold. We can't do much at all right now, especially here in New Jersey as of last night when Governor Murphy dropped even more news that, we're pretty much we're on lockdown, and it really is for the best, abide by the rules and, the laws and regulations of whatever's out there right now so that this thing can get contained and this thing can get over sooner than later so we all can get back to doing what we love to do, whether it's wrestling or, every major sport, is on hold right now, so I'm pretty sure guys that are in the NBA and the XFL and other major sports, they want to get back to doing what they want to do too. And that goes for everybody, no matter what, genre or, type of employment that you're in. Everybody just wants to get back to work right now and get back to normal. So I definitely feel everybody, on that. This is, this last week, usually, especially in the last year, the time flies by every day, especially being in the wrestling business. Monday through Friday will fly by. The weekend will get here. You'll work your shows, and then it's into the next week and on to the next weekend, so on and so forth. So there's never no downtime, and it just goes by so quick. Then you have this week when you're locked down and literally really nothing to do or nowhere to go, and the week just drags and the days drag, and I'm looking at the time and I'm like, man, it's only like 6:30, and it feels a lot later, and I'm like, man, the day is dragging. So yeah, I'm gonna pass the time for myself. Hopefully, help you guys pass the time as well on this first episode of the Tremont H20 podcast. But I'm pretty excited to finally be able to do this. Got the little makeshift studio in the arena, like I said. I literally have some clamps and a duct tape holding together a microphone. I'm shooting the audio into the camera. Jimmy Chondo Lion, he, double stomp video extraordinaire, will then edit all this together and, put this in MP4, send that to me, and then I'll be able to get this podcast out to the world. So Chondo is always a unsung hero behind the scenes as far as getting our content out with H20 Wrestling. He's always a really big help with that stuff. So yeah, man, this is pretty cool. It's just me, the microphone, and I got FMW 60-year anniversary on in the background from '95. So I'm looking at Matsunaga right now on the laptop, and I'm here with you guys. So episode 1, man, I got some bullet points written down, and we're gonna go through them. Again, we're working on the fly together. We're telling a story in the ring right now, and we're going to tell some stories here on the podcast as well. And I hope this podcast will flourish in the future. And it's going to be a lot of different things. Me and Jeff Cannonball have been wanting to do this for some time. And it's something I want to be able to bring Jeff in for, and we'll be able to do this together. Kind of like when, Conrad will do it with JR or Eric Bischoff. So in the future, the goal and the hopes is to have me and Jeff here, doing this simultaneously and be able to, the idea is like a lot of the H20 wrestling content is slowly going on the IWTV Independent Wrestling TV subscription service. And, the idea is to, go back and watch, say H20 Blood Money from October 2018. And we'll be able to go over that card, go over the behind the scenes stuff going into that event. I'll be able to go back and look at my paperwork as far as what was the draw for that show, what was the gate. I've kept track of all that information, since day one, since the very first show. So we'll be able to go in depth, and you'll be able to follow along while watching those shows on IWTV. So a very similar format to, what Conrad shows are with, Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff and so on and so forth, So hopefully that's what we're going to get into. Like I said, I'll be able to get a lot of stuff off my chest, talk a little bit about H20 wrestling, the H20 Wrestling Academy, pretty much all the stuff that has become like the hub of Northeast wrestling. That is the H20 Wrestling Center that we've been able to build up for the last year and a half. Pretty much almost every day there's always something going on in this building that I'm here for. And now I sit here on a Sunday afternoon with nothing ahead for the foreseeable future for the next couple weeks or months. Who knows what's going to go on with the pandemic that is the coronavirus. I sit here today when obviously everything has been canceled, and I should have been today in Jersey City at the White Eagle Hall for Danny DeMonto and Jack Sabbath's ICW New York No Holds Barred event against Big F and Joe from the UK. But I'm not. I'm here at home sitting on my butt, here, sitting at the wrestling center. So yeah, man, it's affected a lot of people in a lot of different ways, especially on the independent scene, because, myself included, and not everybody, but probably a good majority of us, and I'm thankful to be able to make wrestling my, this is my sole income. And, and I'm thankful for the name I've been able to build and where I'm at in independent wrestling since, I would say, the fall of 2014. That was the last time I had an actual regular job outside of wrestling. And I think I was either unloading trucks and stocking shelves at like a Dollar Tree. But since then, my sole income and how I, take care of the family and make sure the dog's got food in the bowl and the wife's happy has been pro wrestling. And that's been my income. And right now, I don't have any income in. The rest of the bookings I had for March, gone. Most of the bookings I had going into April are all gone. Other things are still tentatively postponed and hoping to get rescheduled. And then, obviously we don't have any training going on right here at the H20 Wrestling Center. So I got none of the students are able to come here and train right now. We have no live events coming up. Like tomorrow would be our bi-weekly H20 Wrestling Academy Undiscovered events that we have every other Monday night, our student shows. And, we've been doing those for about a year now. This would be the 26th one that would happen tomorrow night. And it's not going to happen now because we're not able to run live events and have gatherings of, no people at all now. First it was 250, then it went down to 50, then down to 10, and then down to nothing. So tomorrow night on a Monday night for these student shows that we've been doing, we average anywhere from, at a minimum, and again, these are Monday night student shows, but, these student shows have built a little bit of their own fan base over the last year, and we usually draw in between anywhere from, I would say, at a minimum 20 people, and at a maximum, the most we've had on a Monday night was close to 70, 75 people. On the average, though, every other week, they've been between 20 and 40, paid fans at only $5 a ticket, and we still sell some concessions, and we'll put the merch out here and there. But on a typical Monday night for these student shows, you will usually make, an extra $300-400 on a Monday night with these, undiscovered events. And now that income's not coming in. Thankfully, last weekend before all this, all the virus stuff really, got to where it is now, we were still able to run Hardcore Kingdom 4, which was last Saturday, March 14th. That's one of our premier events of the H20 calendar year. And I was, very thankful we were still able to run. The draw was still good. The virus and what's going on definitely affected the draw. Hardcore Kingdom 3 last year was our first legitimate sellout of the building. We can fit about 300 people in the center, and Hardcore Kingdom 3 last year was our first legitimate and still only real true sellout that we've had in the venue of close to 300 people. I think we had about 298 paid last year. And while the draw was still decent this past weekend, we still drew a little over about 150 people. That's half of what we drew the year before. I had so many fans that backed out of tickets the night before and Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, and it was definitely understandable. If you were feeling at risk and didn't want to go out and enjoy yourself, I definitely understand. So, I knew we were going to not have the draw we were going to have, that Kingdom was going to draw. But again, I'm, thankful that we were able to run and still put on a fantastic show and be able to make some money, because this week, that following Monday, I had to go pay the rent for the building, pay the utilities for the building. So thankfully we were able to run and, was able to, take care of the boys at the end of the night. And I was able to, pay the bills on Monday morning, which we were able to, so right now I look at everything that's going on, and like I said, no income coming in, but at least, the bills are paid up right now until at least, the middle of next month. And that's going to get here quick. So, come next month, I might have a little bit of a different mindset and trying to figure out, how I'm going to, get the rent and utilities and stuff paid. Cause, we literally go and live show to show. We don't have big sponsors or money backers or vendors involved with the company. We really never have, aside from like the first, show that we ran almost 4 years ago. But yeah, it's tough. And knowing when I woke up this morning with probably about $90 to my name, and but at least the bills are paid, here and at home, and there's money to put gas in the car, there's groceries in the fridge, and the wife is has what she needs, and the dog has food and some toys, and he's okay, and and I'll be just fine. I don't need anything. As long as they're happy, I'm happy. But yeah, it truly is trying times, right now during all this craziness. But like I said, it's affecting everybody, and back to what I, would have been doing today is at ICW New York, so it's, no income coming in from that, with the potential of being able to sell merchandise and stuff as well, and being able to go in there with Big Joe, who's been on the come up, in the last 6 months to a year, making a name for himself over in the UK. So it was definitely a matchup I was really excited about, and hopefully we'll still be able to, do in the future, for ICW. Hopefully this year or later in the year, whenever it's going to be able to happen. So yeah, we're all just trying to make the best of a shitty situation and trying to stay positive and stay in good spirits. The biggest thing right now is to just, follow the government's, plan, and, hopefully we can contain, the virus itself and not giving it the outlet to spread. And hopefully all this will be done in a couple weeks or a month, and we can all get back to normal, going forward, so we can live our lives. The fans can come out and support wrestling, and we can do our thing. What else has been going on the last, and even after this weekend, going into next week, a lot of people, WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania is still going to happen, at least with no fans and being taped and airing on the network, which is crazy. But as far as the indie world and the collective, that's not happening, and I had a big match during the collective for the Freedom Show. Me and Nick were supposed to tag against Kasai and Takeda, which was a huge match. And that was the only Mania booking I was taking and going down for, because we put together our own collective ourselves on a smaller scale called the Anthology here at the H20 Wrestling Center for Mania weekend. One of my students, Shockey, I've been helping. He's been wanting to promote, and he was going to get ready to promote his first show for Shocking All Pro Wrestling. He was going to run Thursday night. Colin West and Synergy were going to run Friday night. My other student, Sean Henderson, was going to run, I think this is his third or fourth show now. He was going to run Sean Henderson's Happily Ever After in the afternoon, and then our next scheduled live H2O event after Hardcore Kingdom 4 was our big Deathwave show, Saturday, April 4th, that would have happened next Saturday. And that card was going to be headlined by Lowlife Louie taking on Ron Mathis for the H2O title. So now an entire weekend of rentals and income and running a live H2O event, right now, a week out from all that, 2 weeks out from all that, it isn't going to happen right now. And it sucks, looking forward to it, looking forward to, seeing my students run their own shows and get involved with the headache that is being a promoter and a booker at times. So they're not going to be able to, do that now, but the time will come though, and I know they're going to be successful, and they're going to do the thing, and I'm going to, help them out as much as I can, going into those ventures. So it's crazy. You're just trying to find stuff to do, and there's really not much to do. I'm usually on the laptop most days. And once I'm done my work and contacting talent and booking and promoting, I run all the social media for H2O, the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube, uploading content. I do all that stuff, and then, once I'm done, I'm usually either if I'm not watching wrestling, which I'm watching 24/7, I'm watching stand-up comedy or something like that. It's really also, or some kind of comedy show. It's really all else I watch aside from wrestling. But man, in just a week's time, I'm like, man, I feel like I watched everything. What else is there to watch? There's only so many seasons of South Park you can go back and watch. There's only so much FMW and Japanese deathmatch wrestling you can watch. But I'm just gonna keep doing my thing and watch what I watch. But man, it's like you're drawing straws at this point of man, what can I do? Like I said, tomorrow, this will probably air, like I said, probably later this week. So when this comes out, this will, be a little, further back behind. But tomorrow night will be the student show. I don't have that to look forward to. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is when the H20 Wrestling Academy is open. Preacher Phineas James runs the Tuesday night class. Michael Keener is here with his group of kids for Wednesday night. And Thursday night, I run class at the H20 Wrestling Academy here at the center. So, usually, especially when we have a student show that week, student show Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have training. If I have a booking on Friday, I'm, usually on the road. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'm either booked somewhere or we have rentals and I have bookings here. So, out of a 7-day week, I'm usually pretty busy. And when we don't have stuff going on here, then I'm on the laptop and I'm booking and promoting and, doing this, that, and the third. So I just, nothing to keep your mind busy on and, nothing to look forward to is definitely a change of pace of life, of what it's been. And maybe, maybe it's for the better, maybe it's, take that time to reflect and really never take for granted what you got, during this time with what's going on, and take that time to maybe be with, family and do some family stuff. But definitely not taking for granted, what you have in life and what keeps you busy and motivated and inspired, to wake up every day and stay busy and do the next thing. So I'm even only after a week going into week number 2 of, this quarantine, I'm definitely missing, all that stuff, and to try to make the best of everything, going back to, no income coming in because we can't run live events. So we all saw a lot of promotions, including WWE and AEW, run these empty arena shows. We saw GCW do the Acid Cup and stream live on IWTV, and they had the donation thing going. So I'm like, what can H2O do? And these were all before the latest restrictions and rules came in. So yesterday, Saturday, we were, I reached out to the locker room, and I'm like, anybody who's available and would like to come out, not forcing anybody to come out or put yourself at risk. If you want to come out, we're going to film a couple matches, maybe do some interviews or whatever. So yesterday, a handful of guys were able to come out, and so we could at least try to film some kind of content that we can put out to, keep the ship going, stay relevant, have something to tweet and promote. And still try to put some content out during this time that we don't have anything really to put out from. So yesterday, Frankie Picard, Stockade, Devin Moore, Low Life Louie, a couple of the H2O students were able to come out. So we put up earlier in the week, we were going to, do empty arena shows for Undiscovered 26 for the student show that's coming up on Monday. And then a whole separate show called Extreme Epidemic. And we didn't have, not enough of the students were able to come, so we were able to shoot a little mini show for the Extreme Epidemic show. I think we were able to do like 4 matches. Frankie Picard fought the president, Edward Hawkins. Stockade faced H2O Academy student, rising star, Nothing Face. Low Life Louie took on a masked man that I forget his name off the top of my head right now, and they had a fun little hardcore match, and then we had a little impromptu 3-on-2 handicap match. Frankie Picard, Nothing Face, and Devin Moore against myself and Stockade. So we were able to film 4 matches, film some promos and some vignettes, and we'll edit all that together. It'll probably work out to be like almost an hour show, and we'll probably either put that up on IWTV or we might just put it up for free on the H2O YouTube channel. And then after we were done filming all the matches, we were able to sit down, all of us. Scotty Cerriti hosted, and it was Frankie, Stock, Louie, myself, Devin Moore, and Sean Henderson, and we did a little H2O roundtable discussion. that went about an hour and 2 minutes. So, good quality of time, and it was a lot of fun. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Just try to sit some of the boys down and just share some stories and talk about H2O. So in the amongst of all the craziness, we were able to have a productive day. It was nice to look forward to something and do something with the boys and actually see people. I haven't left home very much since all this is going on. So to be able to salvage a day, film some matches, and film the round table, and the round table will most likely either be on IWTV or a future DVD and digital download for Smart Mark Video, who's our distributor and has been since day one. So it was a fun day. We filmed some content, got some content that we'll be able to get out there and, hopefully be able to, make some money on. Because like I said, that is our only income after all this right now, with not running any live events, with the school not running and everything else. The only income, that myself and H2O Wrestling has right now is the people watching the H2O product on IWTV. We make, X amount of cents or dollars, when they watch. And then the, DVD and digital download sales from Smart Mark Video. And then, my shirts and H2O shirts that are up on Pro Wrestling Tees. So those three avenues of revenue that come in, once a month, that's all we got coming in. So, in a time of, especially in a time like this, I am never one to, I'm not asking for no handouts. I'm a man at the end of the day, and I provide for the family. So I'm going to figure this thing out in the end. So I'm not borrowing money off people, doing this, that, and the third. So if there's any way you want to support, myself and support H2O Wrestling, in this off time, the best after you support yourself, take care of yourself and your family. If you got a few bucks extra at the end of the night and you want to, subscribe to the Independent Wrestling TV network, it's only $9.99 a month. If you sign up for the first time, use that promo code HUSTLE, HUSTLE. And not only will you have all the H2O content, you got all those other great wrestling promotions as well. There's so much goddamn wrestling on that network. It's crazy. I just watched a Dennis Carluzzo shoot interview the other day that I've been trying to watch for years. Asking Chondo for the VHS is like pulling teeth. He's got somewhere buried in his house. So he's like, hey, that Carluzzo shoots on IWTV. So, I was able to pass some time the other day watching that shoot interview. If you're looking for good wrestling content, man, subscribe to that network. It's a no-brainer. And for only $10, and whatever you're watching, you're supporting those companies that you're watching. That income's going to come in and help anybody pay a bill or whatever, during this time. And, since H2O's inception back in June of 2016, every single one of our events have been available on Smart Mark Video. Since the first show, it was all a dream back in June 2016, all up until our last live event last weekend of Hardcore Kingdom 4, which I just spoke to Mr. Chondo a few minutes ago before I started to record this first podcast. He should be almost done editing and rendering the Hardcore Kingdom file, which then he'll usually send to me. And then I'll put together the match listing and everything. And then I will forward that email to Smart Mark Video. And then they're able to put it online so we can sell and, get some money the following month. So if you haven't had the chance, if you weren't here live for Hardcore Kingdom 4, or you don't subscribe to IWTV, because you can watch the replay of the live edit that's currently on IWTV right now. So if you're looking for the fully edited, post-produced Hardcore Kingdom 4, should be available and up on Smart Mark by Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, hopefully by the latest this week. So definitely pick that up. one that drops on Smart Mark Video, later this week. I really appreciate it. It was a really good show. As the guy with the pen and the paper, and when you book a show and then it comes to fruition, and certain things get over well, and certain things get over even well that exceeds your expectations. It's a really good feeling. I get the same satisfaction now as a booker, seeing an angle come through or seeing a talent get over, just as much as me in a match or winning a title or feeling the crowd chant your name or whatever. I get that same feeling. When that stuff really comes to light, during a match. Hardcore Kingdom 4 I thought was a solid show. I didn't think it was better than Hardcore Kingdom 3 the previous year, but I still think it was a solid tournament. I thought the show overall was great, and I think the most important part was we were able to execute, what storylines we got going on right now, and really continue to get over more talent and really make our own homegrown stars. I think that's one of the things that separates H2O a lot, right now compared to a lot of other wrestling promotions, and that is, a lot of guys you can only see at H2O or started here and are getting over here. And there are H2O guys, and that are getting over with the crowd, whether, as a heel or a babyface. Chuck Payne comes to mind. He's been doing fantastic. Raven Havoc is another. He comes all the way down here from North Carolina and has improved so much in the last year. And, we're getting ready to go into a program with him and Kid Osborne, which is something they kind of started on their own outside of H2O. And it's, taking what they had organically and then bringing it into the H2O world, and it's generated interest and people want to see it. So, we're in the beginning stages of that. And speaking of Kit's been a great heel, and, he was in his last two things he's been doing at H2O have been all, short and long-term programs with. He was in a long-term program with Schlack, and then he just got done a short-term program with Life Louie, and H2O has always been about just telling stories, man. I love angles and storytelling and building things up and having a payoff and having a blow-off and making things mean something and try to get that emotional investment from the fans and build up the heels and build up the baby faces and build it to a big gimmick match, whatever it is. But yeah, Chuck Payne's been a real big standout. Raven, Kit, the Extricated are three guys I look at as H2O guys, and since they've been here at H2O, have been heels. And then I worked Bam at our Hardcore Halloween 2 event last October, and it was time to turn them babyface. And just working with me, turning them face, him getting the rub from me, and then doing some promos, outside of the center, and having them work the top heels the last few shows. They've gotten over as baby faces much faster than I envisioned. And that's just a testament to, their talent and really investing themselves as being baby faces now after being heels for so long here. So just so many good things going forward with so many top talents, here at H2O that just continues to get me excited with what we're doing and what we got going into the future. We're going to take a break for just a quick second. We're going to throw up a commercial. Probably we're going to plug some Smart Mark Video DVDs or IWTV or Pro Wrestling TV tees as well. And we will be back in just a minute with episode 1 of the Tremont H2O podcast. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, want to support Matt Tremont H2O Wrestling during this crazy pandemic? Well, There's 3 ways that can help us out tremendously. Go on Pro Wrestling Tees and purchase a Matt Tremont or H2 Wrestling t-shirt. Stream H2O Wrestling on IWTV, independentwrestling.tv. We currently have 9 H2O Wrestling events currently streaming on the streaming service for only $9.99 a month. And if you're signing up for the first time, use hashtag promo code HUSTLE. And the entire H2O Wrestling library is available on smartmarkvideo.com. All H2O events are available on DVD, MP4, and video on demand, along with the Best of the Bulldozer shoot interviews and Best of match compilation DVDs and downloads. So during this crazy pandemic, if there's one way you can support your favorite promotions and your favorite pro wrestlers, seek out one of those avenues and help out your boys during this crazy time on IWTV, Smart Mark Video, or Pro Wrestling TV. Thank you, guys. All right, we are back with the official Tremont H2O Wrestling podcast. If you're listening to us for this first episode on our YouTube channel, I believe we threw up in that little break period, probably a little commercial plugging our Smart Mark DVDs, IWTV, Pro Wrestling TV, Pro Wrestling Tees, and on the audio, depending on what platform this will be up on. I'm sure it's just some kind of like quick commercial ad or something like that, and some quick plugs to keep reminding you guys how you can continue to support myself and H2O Wrestling and all the wrestlers and independent promotions, right now during this downtime and period during the pandemic that is the coronavirus. Man, I got to tell you, in the first 40 minutes that we've recorded so far, man, I'm having a blast. I got butterflies in my stomach like it's before I'm about to go through the curtain for my first match. This has been super fun so far. I'm having a lot of fun. This is, again, something that I've wanted to do for some time, and to finally have the downtime to do it and get the ball rolling and get my feet wet in the podcast world, and just to be able to have an outlet to talk to the wrestling fans out there, again, that have, and to the business and the people in and out of the business, that have supported me and that have given me so much. So if you could see my face right now, I got a smile on the face. Sullivan, my black lab, he's still chilling with me. He's in his bed chewing on his fucking toys as he always does. He's a good dog. He's truly man's best friend, especially during, when you got nothing to do, and once I'm chilling in the recliner, and he'll just hop up on the lap, and and he'll just chill with me, lick my face and head to death. After he licks himself to death, that's all he does. He's such a good dog and a lovable dog. Yeah, man's best friend truly is, man. Fucking dogs, man. I love my dog to death. Still got the FMW 6th year anniversary playing on in the background. We are now up on the ONITA Hayabusa electrified cage match. I know at some point down the line on this podcast in the future, I'm going to be able to go in depth with everything ONITA and the once in a lifetime match, and then bringing him back in for Cage of Death a couple years ago. Finally being able to go to Japan and work with him in an exploding match in Japan. The dude has given me and done so much for me. So I really look forward to, being able to have the platform to go a little bit more in depth about ONITA and what he's done for me and my family, because it's just crazy. And I tell people all the time, like, for most of us that enjoy hardcore, extreme deathmatch wrestling, there's so many fans of us out there. And ONITA's a pioneer, and he paved the way. And, it's somebody as a kid that I bought DVDs and tape and VHSs of, and only would, daydream about, wrestling him one day or just meeting him one day, and to be able to do all that and actually like call him a friend, and it's somebody I keep in contact with still to this day, is extremely surreal. And for him to be just, so kind to me and my lady, and, ONITA's wife, just, crazy how humble and kind they are to me, and him taking a liking to this random ass white kid from South Jersey, that just started to call him out in promos, and then all that we were able to do, in that year and a half, 2-year span, again, of, bring, the once in a lifetime match, the tag team match at Cage of Death inside the ECW arena, a year or so ago, going to Japan. And Japan, that's another thing. I had my tour in October 2017 where I did the 2 shows, and I got to wrestle ONITA over there and get blown up an exploding barbed wire match. And it's a dream come true. I'm just, a kid from South Jersey that only ever wanted to do was, be a hardcore wrestler, and I was able to do that. And going to Japan is the end all be all. It's everything that we inspire to do and be, and to have the chance to go there, and then for time to go by and like realizing, man, I don't know if I'll ever have the chance to go to Japan again. And then for Brett and GCW to reach out earlier last year, and then for me to be able to go over to Japan again this past February and go with just a great group of fucking dudes with the Game Changer crew, and have an even better time that I had on the first tour. That's another thing, I really look forward to talking about, here on the podcast in the future, especially that recent trip to Japan. Just a great group of people, Danny Havoc, who's very influential in my career and getting me a job at CZW, which led to everything else in my life, to be able to go to Japan with him, and for someone who was retired and just, came back just to go on that tour, and then to be on that tour with guys that I've been in the ring with and known for some time, in Alex Colon and Chris Dickinson and Kyle the Beast, and just everybody on the tour, man. It was an exceptional time. Really took advantage of my time there. And I look forward to talking about it on a later edition of the Tremont H20 podcast. But just to, reflect back on overall what we've talked about here on this first episode, the pandemic itself, that is the virus, and how it's affected everybody. Nobody's able to run, a lot of people don't have income coming in, running Hardcore Kingdom, not being able to run live events going forward, Mania weekend, just, so much of life got cut off that so many people were looking forward to in the next couple weeks, and now it's at a standstill, and we're all, including myself, just literally living day by day right now, and trying to figure out, what to do and how to come up with income, and just to get by and live life and be able to take care of yourself and one another. So it's definitely a wake up call, man. Because you never know when shit like this is going to happen. You can't plan for something like this. You never know anything like this is going to happen. So when it does, man, it just hits you full force, and you literally, it's out of your hands. There's nothing you can do. You just got to take it all in stride, do the best you can, within the circumstances that it is, and just fucking rock and roll with life, and just keep on going. So, going forward, tomorrow, Monday morning, March, whatever the date it's going to be, I forget off the top of my head at the moment, but, tomorrow's a new day, but I know waking up tomorrow, I'm like, man, I don't have anything to promote or anything to book or just anything to really plan. It's hard to, I can't even really reschedule anything yet, because You don't know how long this is going to last. This could last another day. It could last another week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a whole another month. So, like, at this point right now, I haven't, like, really rescheduled anything for any further dates. I have ideas in my head of, what we're going to do as far as, because our next live event tentatively would be April 4th and Death Wave. So my idea right now, and that's, still, 2 weeks away, something like that. If we're definitely not able to do that, my idea right now is to pretty much just move, all the events that we have, going forward just ahead. So April 4th, Death Wave, if we're not able to do that, I'm looking at our May 16th date. If everything is okay by May 16th, Death Wave will become the final opportunity date of May 16th. And then we're supposed to run, and H20 is supposed to return to Dayton, Ohio, the night before on May 15th. And right now that's still up in the air. We haven't canceled or postponed anything yet. Again, we're just playing everything by ear. So I can't really make any definitive, calls right now on anything because we really just don't know. And it's unfortunate, really looking forward to Mania weekend and all the events that we had here. I was looking forward to going down to Florida and working the Freedom Show. But again, life happens and you got to roll with the punches sometimes and you got to make the best of it. So the plan going forward, if our Mania weekend, as far as the anthology, doesn't take part on April 4th, the Death Wave event for H20 will then become the final opportunity date on May 16th. And if all goes well, we will still be able to have our 4-year anniversary on June 20th. And then we'll figure out when we'll be able to do the final opportunity event, probably push that to later in the summer. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll know if we can still do Ohio, because that's right around the corner. It's about a month and a half away. But at the same time, we've only, tickets have been reserved. We've only announced the talent. We haven't announced any matches yet for the Hustlepalooza Ohio return card. But we'll need, you still need, X amount of, days and weeks to promote and get the rest of the card out, online. I had the plan to go down there a week or two before and promote and flyer the area locally. So, hopefully we'll be able to run May 15th, but if we can't and I don't have the adequate time enough to promote the event, I'd definitely rather postpone it to the summer and have a solid month and a half to promote the event. Because last time H20 ran in Dayton, Ohio, was July of 2018 with Destruction in Dayton, available on Smart Mark Video and on IWTV. Quick, cheap plug. And we did great. We drew great, and we had a great show. And I don't want to go back and not do that same good business just for the sake of, hey, let's get this show in. We're happy to be running a show. I don't want to venture into a new market and not being able to do good because we got to rush things. Say, by May 5th, the world is okay. I only have 10 days to get a card out and promote an event that's 8+ hours away. That's not something I really want to do, and I think would hurt H20. So I'd rather just postpone it at that point. So hopefully everything works out, and we can rock and roll in Ohio either in May or the summertime. But for what it's looking like right now, the anthology weekend will be postponed here at the center in Williamstown, and we will be able to do Death Wave instead of on April 4th, tentatively for May 16th. Again, everything's up in the air, but you guys always know I'm always on social media, and I will always keep the fans informed of the ongoings and upcomings of H20 wrestling going forward. We're headed into week number 2 of the quarantine, and I know I'll wake up tomorrow with, oh man, what am I going to do today? And right now, the only thing that I have to look forward to doing tomorrow is most likely recording episode number 2 of this podcast. So it's definitely giving me something to look forward to. And I really hope once we release the audio, you guys give it a listen and take an hour out of your day and give it a chance and see if you like it or not. Definitely, I'm looking forward to hearing, everybody's feedback, whether you're commenting on the YouTube comments or messaging me or email or, however you got to get a hold of me. But I definitely look forward to, hearing feedback. I think overall what I enjoy when I listen to podcasts is just, the speaker coming off as just as genuine as possible and not just boring you with a bunch of BS and rattling off stuff. I try to, the goal coming on here is to have a genuine conversation with myself, but, talking to you guys and just being as real and as raw as possible as I always am. And, to be able to, be an outlet for you and to, be an hour of your day to escape reality and escape all the BS that's going on right now, and to just listen to some good old fucking wrestling and just, keep you up to date on myself and H20 Wrestling and independent pro wrestling as it is, because, during times like this, man, everybody needs everybody. To stay motivated, to stay positive, to keep those positive thoughts and the positive vibes. I'm not a real big religious person, but, I'm always about just positivity and being a good person. Do good things will happen to you. And, hopefully this podcast will be a good thing, and hopefully it can keep people positive. Hopefully it inspires somebody else to do a podcast or at least to be creative and start something on their own, to keep their mind busy, because during all this shit, man, the mind can wander, especially when you got nothing to do and you're up till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the mind is just wandering. I've been definitely filling up my notebook the last couple days of just ideas, because like I said, there's not much going on, so I'm literally just sitting at home. So I've had the one thing I've been able to do the last few days is just go back and watch a lot of old championship wrestling from Florida, from the between like 81 and 84, when Dusty and Sullivan were at their peak as far as babyface and heel. Prince of Darkness and his faction, so just as far as, obviously for the entertainment aspect, and then as a booker to go back and, try to find some creative finishes that I can book for future H20 shows, or see a finish that I like and maybe tweak it a little bit and turn it into my own. And then, being able to write that on paper with the pen, and then to see it come to life in the ring, by the wrestlers that you give the platform to do it with, again, is very fucking, a lot of satisfaction out of that. Again, and with the podcast overall, I look forward to being able to feature a lot of guys you guys might not know about or only know a little bit about. But man, there's so many, going back to talking about like the Chuck Paynes and the Extricateds of H20, and even, the Kid Osbornes, the Raven Havocs, the Steve Sanders, the Danny Gallaghers, and even all of our students of the H20 Academy. Just give them another platform for people to hear about their name. I can't tell you how proud I am as a booker, promoter, and friend to a lot of these guys, of just how much they've grown and done as in-ring performers over the last year, since they've been with us at H20. All the students at the H20 Wrestling Academy, they're students at the end of the day, but like, me and the wife don't have any kids, so like, my students are my kids, man, and some of them are even older than I am. And some of them are a lot younger than I am, but like, they're my kids, man. And I like, the next chapter of my career in wrestling, I've accomplished most of what I'm going to accomplish inside the wrestling ring. my future in the business is giving back to the business that, again, that has given me so much, and it is giving back to others. If Danny Havoc and all these other guys and Devin Moore and Drew Blood, veterans that looked out for me when I was coming up, you got to give back, and you got to do that for others, and be able to, and I'm able to use my name that I've been able to build over the last 13 years and now provide a platform for others to build their name. I want guys to come into H2O and be successful, make a name here, so then they can start making a name in the business as a whole, and then start making some money and being able to do this full time. And we got a lot of fucking talented people, in the roster and on the roster that have been here, or the students that are on their way up. I want people to come out of here and be like, yo, man, like, he started at H2O and he got signed by Ring of Honor, or he's with MLW, this guy's making six figures now. But I enjoy just being able to provide that beginning and early foundation for a lot of young guys coming up and women in the business now, for them to prosper and to be able to do a lot of good things in wrestling that will affect their overall life and growth, going forward for the rest of their lives and their career. It keeps me motivated. H2O wrestling and running the daily, day-to-day logistics of this company. Being the promoter, the booker, the owner, just everything, and running the school, training, H2O wrestling, is my life, and I'm able to take care of my family because of H2O and because of pro wrestling. So I'm always just trying to give back. So yeah, again, I just real excited to be able to do this and talk and have this outlet and just fucking put everybody over, man. People have done so much for me. I just want to continue to give back and get more people's name out there and just put everybody in the world over, man. And it just, makes you feel good at the fucking end of the day. So proud of all my students. Gigi Everson, Big Red Ryan Redfield, Chris Bradley, Christian Ross, Nothing Face, Austin Luke, Edward Hawkins, Johnny Nova, Suntan Superman, Miss Blakely, Shockey, David Terrence, Trevor, Eric, Travis Doom. I'm trying to remember all the students off the top of my head. Santiago, Bryce. If I forget anybody, I apologize. I'm literally just trying to come off the top of my head. But man, I love all my students to death. H2O wrestling really is a big family, man. The atmosphere at our shows is great. In the arena during the shows, our locker room is always great. We've never had any issues here. I don't book anybody that I've never really done any business with or haven't been in the ring with. I know who I bring in here, and I do that for a reason, to avoid headaches and to avoid drama. And the H2O locker room and the atmosphere is always good. Everybody's having fun. They're enjoying what they're doing. And it really is a big family, man. And like it keeps me sane at times when, the wrestling business can be hectic, and, it can, definitely, get to you at different times in life and in your career. So yeah, again, I look forward to talking about so much, with this platform and being able to do a podcast. I keep thinking about, as I talk, I keep thinking about the many podcasts I was on over the years. Like I mentioned earlier, the Struggles, the Hell in a Cell podcast, Team Left Jab, the Road Home. I've been on so many, so like I appreciate all those podcasts that I've been on over the years, because I gained a little bit of knowledge, to be able to do this here today with you guys from those guys. So much love to all the people that take pride in what they do and in their craft, and do a good job at this, because it's not easy. You got to be prepared doing something like this, and I look forward to putting in the work to make this something that people are interested in and want to listen into overall. As I look to wrap up this inaugural episode, man, again, like we're heading into the second week of the quarantine and just, staying home and staying safe so all this can come to an end. Just to put out the positive vibes, to everybody, to all the, promoters that I work for, as for, DJ with CZW, Brett with GCW, DeMonto with ICW, Charlie with Modern Vintage, Chad Standalone, all the promotions that run here, Colin with Synergy, all the Laddie with On Point, and just all the promotions in general that I either do business here with here at the building, or my bookings when I got to go places. It's a tough time for a lot of us right now, and sometimes you got to take a couple bullets. We're going to take these bullets right now, and we're all going to come out of this, even better. Independent pro wrestling is going to come back even better than before. And who knows, sometimes I look at wrestling, it's always constant and it's 24/7, 365. And I've always thought wrestling kind of needed an off season to reset and to come back fresh. Kind of like when a guy leaves the territory and comes back 6 months later, because sometimes you get stale. Not to say indie wrestling's stale, because right now indie wrestling's on fire right now. But maybe like a silver lining out of all this, maybe, this could be, this downtime that we have because of the pandemic can turn into, a silver lining, and, we're going to come out of this even better than what we came into it, and it's going to be like a blessing in disguise. And indie wrestling is going to fire back and be even better than it was before all this craziness, took place. And for the fans that keep supporting, man, keep supporting. I tell all the fans before every H2O show, usually like 10 or 15 minutes before the bell of the live event starts, I'll always chit chat with the fans on the mic, and I always tell them we strive, thrive, and survive because of you guys, especially at least for H2O wrestling. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't really do any business with any vendors. We don't have any big money sponsors. I was never born into a family with money. I don't have a silver spoon in my mouth. H2O is as indie could be. Your $20, your $20, $25, $30 tickets at the door, you buying a hot dog at concession stand, buying a t-shirt or a DVD at the merch, that's what keeps us going and in business. And then we'll, because in that allotted time of a live event, we have 3 hours to make as much money as we can to be able to take care of the boys at the end of the night, put money into the next show, take care of bills and what we got to do. And then outside of that, hopefully we are generating enough interest to where, oh man, I wasn't able to get to the show, but I want to go watch it on IWTV. So hopefully you're subscribing, or man, I really want to buy the DVD and continue to support the company. So you're going to Smart Mark and buying a DVD or buying a download. Or you really want to rock that t-shirt and have some, your favorite company swag on, so you're going to Pro Wrestling Tees or wherever, or buying a t-shirt from, the wrestler themselves. So, yeah, man, just keep continuing to do that stuff. It literally is going to, keep us going right now. As for a lot of us, again, that is our only, income during this crazy pandemic, fucking Corona, man. But overall, I think we're approaching a little over an hour for this first podcast. I have had an extremely fun time doing this, even though I am currently by myself sitting in an empty arena at the H2O Wrestling Center. With wrestling that was supposed to happen tomorrow, but I'm going to wake up tomorrow and make the best of it. There won't be no student show. There won't be any training. So tomorrow I'm just going to, I'm going to make the biggest thing, you're waking up tomorrow and you're alive. And you got your health, and you got people around you that care about you and that you care about, and that's the biggest thing you got, man. Aside from fucking money and all the other stresses of the world, you got your health, and you the biggest thing. Hey, man, I'm waking up tomorrow morning and assess the day and just take it in stride and have the best day that you can possibly have. And if your day consists of nothing but watching pro wrestling all day to keep a smile on your face and keep your mind off all the negativity that's going on in the world, God bless you. I think, tomorrow my plan will be to probably record episode 2 of this podcast, probably watch some more deathmatch wrestling, probably watch some more Memphis and championship wrestling from Florida, and try to stay creative and write ideas down in a notebook, and, kiss the wife, pet the dog, and just relax and just go with the flow, because, there's really nothing we can do except go with the flow. So in ending of this inaugural episode of the Tremont H2O podcast, anybody, whether you listen to the audio on our YouTube page, the H2O YouTube channel, or my YouTube channel, or whatever podcast platform this goes up on, whether it's Podbean or Spotify. Again, I'm learning all this stuff as I go. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, that you took, an hour out of your time to listen to the Bulldozer yap his mouth for a little bit. But I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun listening to this debut episode. And again, during this time and as always, please continue to support independent pro wrestling and your favorite pro wrestlers. And the best way to do that, for myself and H2O Wrestling and everyone else on the indies, all the promoters, all the promotions, all the wrestlers, please go subscribe to IWTV, drop the $9.99, and just watch as much wrestling as you can. And watch H2O. If you're signing up for the first time, use that promo trial code HUSTLE, HUSTLE, and smartmarkvideo.com. Every H2O wrestling event is available on DVD, MP4, and video and VOD. And all the top wrestling promotions are on there. So support and buy a DVD, buy a download, or if you're looking for a T-shirt of mine or H2O, or every great wrestler today has a pro wrestling tee store. So just head over to Pro Wrestling Tees. And support your favorite wrestler, support your favorite promotions, and we will all get through the pandemic as a whole. And when we come back out of this, pro wrestling is going to be even better than before. H2O Wrestling is going to rock and roll just like we do. Just a quick shout out to all my students. I usually speak with them every day. Almost in our little private chat group, but just a shout out to them. They know this is their home just as much as it is mine. And when we get back to normal, let's get back to work. Let's continue to chase that dream under those bright lights and make you the best pro wrestler and best human being that we can possible going forward once we get the train back on the tracks. Thank you, to everybody. Thank you for always supporting myself over the years, and H2O Wrestling, and this brand new fucking podcast. Again, I really appreciate y'all. I'm looking forward to hearing the feedback from this first episode, and I'm looking forward to episode number 2. Again, want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is just the beginning of a brand new venture. Everyone, please stay safe, take care of yourself and each other. Much love. I'm out of here. The Bulldozer. Peace.